Okay, hi y'all, it's Amanda with Tap Mom and the Bake Brigade. For our first installment of Crochet in the Wild, we're gonna go and find us a nice quiet spot in this park, which is Bossier City Tinsley Park Sports Complex. I noticed that there is I'm gonna pan over very slowly. I'm in the van, I hadn't parked yet, but there is a couple little benches over here by the play area. I'm gonna park and go set up over there. All right, y'all, so here we are in beautiful Bossier City at Tinsley Park. This is the playground. This is the spot I chose. There is my van. Some of y'all don't know what my van looks like. That's what she looks like. She's dirty. She sits under a tree, but that's my Toyota minivan. Anyway, so I'm gonna pause this and turn it around, and then we'll record. I'm gonna start a project. Hey y'all, I hope everybody's getting this. I do have my glasses. I have that transitional lenses, so it looks like I have sunglasses on, but I don't. And so, ooh, and I left my stitch marker in the van. Okay. Well, we'll just wing it, will we not? Anyway, so yeah, you're gonna hear traffic because I'm in a populated area. There's lots of business stuff going on. There might even be somebody coming and asking me what the heck I'm doing. I got Diet Mountain Dew as my drink of choice. But we are going to start a project today in the wild. I thought y'all might appreciate that. Crochet in the wild. Well, as wild as we're going to get in the city anyway. This being our first stop on the trip, you know, this series of videos that we're going to be doing. I am actually right down the road from the Bossier Animal Shelter where I got Theodore. And the brief little buddy we had, Leroy, the little pit bull that I adopted back in April, the end of April, that we only had for about a month because he ended up being too aggressive and was hurting Theodore, and we had to take him back. Which broke my heart. I hated having to do that, but I didn't really feel like I had much of a choice. I didn't have money for vet bills when he inevitably injured Theodore to the point where he needed a vet's attention. But back to crochet. This is what we're going to start our project with. This is Premier Basics, and this color is called Aqua. This is going to be a full stitched hexi cardi. It'll be a Christmas present for someone. So, surprise! Y'all know me. By now, anyway. After 3 years, let's see. August was 3 years. Yeah. So for my hexi cardigans, I usually chain 6 and then slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Well, that's when my yarn cooperates. Now I got to start over, but I got my slip stitch here. Oh, and that even came out. Fun times. But I got my tulip 6 milli hook with me. In case y'all are wondering what this little pink hook is, it's a tulip. I just grabbed one. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'll slip stitch into the first one down here. Easier said than done when you're on camera. And I did have me a snack before doing this so that I wouldn't be all shaky, because I tend to ignore my belly sometimes and don't eat on a particular schedule. All right, now we slip stitch. There we go. Now we got our ring. Now, I don't know how many of y'all have, I know a lot of y'all have done these hexi cardigans. So, you know, you do 6 corners instead of 4 like you would a traditional granny square. So I'm going to chain 3. Now when I chain 3, now when you first slip stitch, you're going to look like this, and then you can chain 3. Now what I do, I typically turn mine to where my little tail, now I leave a long tail because I can use this tail with a darning needle and go and close up the hole. Okay, so that's why I leave a long tail, for going back and closing up the hole. Okay, so if you're ever wondering why I do that, that's why I do that. And so we're going to chain 3, and that's going to be our first double crochet. All right. And there's our first cluster. Then we're going to chain 2. And 3 more. Now with the full stitch, now you start it this way, but then of course by row 2 you're doing something else. And of course my stitch marker's in the van. I've meant to bring a stitch marker with me so that I could do the thing with the sleeves, but typically I can start doing that at row 4 and be just fine. So we're going to chain 2 again, and 3 more. Now I may go a little quicker. 1, 2. Now if you start to kind of run out of room, just don't hesitate, just move your stitches over. It's gonna look a little wonky there for a second, but that's okay. Now I'm typically a loose crocheter, but here lately I've noticed that some of my work is a little tighter than it used to be too. So I think my grip has gotten stronger. Let's see, we got, and if you're wondering where you are, just go back and count your corners, you know. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is number 5. So we're going to chain 2, move over our work, hook over, and 3 double crochets. All right, now this is where things get different. Okay, you're gonna make a 6th corner, but you're not gonna, because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, you don't need to do another three double crochet here. All you're gonna do is go here to your starting chain here, and you're going to slip stitch into that. Okay, you're going to do your chain 2 after your double crochet, after this double crochet here, but then you're going to go over here and just slip stitch into this. Okay, well, I said that. It's always easier when you're on your own. You do this slip stitch business. Okay. And you're just going to have to use your own judgment about what's the best placement for your slip stitch. I usually try to go where just wherever you can get it in that looks good enough for you. Because in the end, it's your work and you have to make it look like you want it to look. So, and you're going to just, this is my method. Doesn't mean it's everybody's method. So now what I've done is I have, I'll turn it around. But I have slip stitched over to this other corner. So let me pull this up and I'll show y'all. So that gives me 2, 4, and 6 corners. Okay, so now is where we start to do the full stitch part. Okay, now with the full stitch part, it's a bit different than if you're going to do the granny stitch cardigan. Okay, you're not going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in all the corners. You're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, because you're going to be double crocheting in each stitch. Okay, so that makes it quite a bit different. Not every, I mean, a lot of the tutorials, like I believe Kelly over at Crafting the Cupper, I believe she does it this way. I could be wrong, but I believe she does it this way too. It just lays better. It works better this way. But everybody, of course, has their own way of doing things. So we're going to chain 3 to start our row like you normally would, okay? And then we're going to go back in with one more double crochet right here, and then we're going to chain 2, and then you're going to do 2 more double crochets in this little corner here. And because we're doing the full stitch one, that's how that's going to look, okay? That's how that's going to look. That's when you start in your new row. Now, there is this little bitty stitch right here as you're starting to do the full stitch. Try your best not to miss this stitch, because you will end up with a noticeable gap. If you're a perfectionist like myself, you will notice that little gap. So try to get your double crochet in that space, because that is indeed a stitch. So you just start with going here, and then you go to the next one, double crochet, and then the next one, double crochet, and then we are back to a corner, okay? So 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets. All right, this has kind of been an impromptu tutorial. Chain 2 and 2 double crochets. All right, and then we are back again at this little corner, tiny little corner stitch there, and you're gonna just grab it and go. And I should have brought a different hook. This yarn is not crazy about this hook. All right, it's the hook. It could be the hooker, but it might be the hook. I'll switch to a different one when I do it next time. And chain 2, and then 2 more. All right, don't forget your little tiny stitch there. So far so good on nobody bothering us. Alrighty, back to our next corner, which you have 6, so that's to be expected. And 1, 2. Now as you work rows, your stitches will get, your sides will get longer and longer, and so you'll have more and more stitches to work, of course. But as you're working this row 2, you only have 3 at a time. But you'll get it. And it's getting warm out here, so I'm probably not going to stay out here much longer. Even though I do have a breeze, so there's that. And I got to go home and record a members only video. Let's see. And we're going back in that little tiny little stitch there. We're almost done with row 2. And we're back at this. Now this corner is going to be a little wonky because this was the 6th corner, and this is the one that did our little slip stitch. Now don't be worried about how big the middle is or any of that. That's going to work itself out. Okay, so I almost forgot where I was. Alrighty. Now here's where it's going to be a little bit difficult, because you got your slip stitches across this little spot here. So you're going to kind of have to force things a little bit, but that's okay. You will get it. You'll get through it. That's where a Susan Bates hook would come in handy right here to really get through these little stitches. And there's a worker on a side-by-side that just waved at me. Probably wondering what I'm doing. So here we are. Just talking to myself, crocheting. Talking to myself and crocheting. All right, So here we are. We got through those. Now you're just gonna do your slip stitch, and then you're gonna slip stitch into this little spot here and try to make it as unnoticeable as possible. You see, there you go. Just grab you a couple of loops and slip stitch into it, and just do it in a spot that makes you comfortable. That's the key here, is to just make yourself comfortable. But that gets us to row 2. Now it's not going to look like much right now, but we will fold it and you will see there is the beginning of a sweater. But I think that will conclude us, because it's getting warm out here and I honestly do not want to sit here and sweat. But yeah, and I got this is lots of videos to do today, so I'm gonna let y'all go for now. But this is Crochet in the Wild. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Please remember that I love you and so does Jesus, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.